here in Boulder on press conference day, the week of the Baylor game, homecoming weekend for the Buffs, and even got into a weather debate today at Coach Prime's press conference.
Yeah, you just never know. Sometimes the most basic questions turn into some fun moments in the press conferences with Coach Prime. And, yeah, he was just asked, with a chance of rain coming up, and that led to, what do you mean rain? What app are you looking at? And so everybody's kind of pulling out their phones like, what app? So, yeah, it was kind of.
I will say on Weather Underground, they are predicting rain currently.
Yeah, and not only this week but next weekend. But the point was, he was asked, like, are you doing some wet ball drills, things like that, and he kind of look, we know football, we know what we're doing, and so hopefully they'll be prepared if it's rain.
Coach Prime did say we might get some guys that were injured back this week, but at this point we don't know specifically. He was asked about Dallin Hayden, Chidozie Wankwell, and was a little bit uncertain about their status, but did say defensive lineman Torian Carter is out. And then you asked him later about that for clarification, and did mention that he went in for surgery, but didn't go as far as saying he's out for the season. So that's one less guy you have in that defensive line rotation.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because he was one of the key additions this offseason, so you'd like to see him get some momentum going there. But the guys they've had have played pretty well. But you could be down Chidozie and Torian Carter this week, just like they were last week. But you need those guys, and hopefully Chidozie's back. It sounds like he would be back sooner than Torian Carter. But they need at least one of those guys back as you're going into conference play.
I asked Coach Prime about DJ McKinney because, as I mentioned, he's being overshadowed right now by Travis Hunter, and he said, well, that's because you guys are overshadowing him. But it's true.
Yeah.
If Travis Hunter was not on this team, DJ McKinney's performance through 3 weeks would have us talking a lot more about him, I think, and because he's got that length that the NFL looks for. And Coach Prime said that he's going to be a future first-round pick, maybe not this year, but in the future. And he sure looked like that through 3 games as a Buff.
Yeah, well, definitely not this year because I don't think he can. I don't think he's eligible yet this year. But he's looking.
Well, he redshirted 1 year. Yes, so he technically could, yeah.
Okay, so I'm wrong on that. But, but I agree with Coach Prime. He's looking really good. I mean, we talked so much about how last year they spent most of the year trying to find that second cornerback next to Travis. Well, they're set. DJ McKinney looks like a top corner, and if he was your top corner, you would feel pretty good about it. I think when you have those two combined, I mean, you and I were talking about some of the PFF numbers, but I think he's given up 57 yards receiving. They've got Travis with 75, and the receptions he's given up, it's hardly any. He's playing really good football right now, and you're right. I don't think it's talked about enough by myself as included, but he's playing really good football.
4 pass breakups right now, is tied for the lead in the Big 12. And that is a group that has lived up to our preseason expectations. Even Colton Hood came in the game on Saturday and had a nice pass breakup late in the football game.
He's playing really good football too.
Yeah. I think there could have been like 3 Buffs that could have intercepted the ball on that throw. That was one of the worst throws I've seen at the college level.
That was not a very good throw. And I tweeted it after that throw. I was like, you just knew at some point Braden Fowler-Nicolosi was going to do that because that's just he throws a lot of picks. And, the Buffs were fortunate to be right there and get 2 of them.
It was nice to have Michael Welch come in there. Yeah. He's got that determination that you just have to respect, and you've seen it in him with the behind-the-scenes video since the second he got on campus and his spring rivalry with Shiloh Sanders. And he's got a very bright future here. He's, as we described him when he was a recruit, kind of that bowling ball style running back, and even that run that he had that went for lost yardage, that might have been as impressive a run as I've seen for lost yardage ever.
Yeah, well, I know that the freshman class is small, but I believe that I said even back then on signing day that he was one of my favorite guys in this class. I'm a running back guy. I love good running backs, and he just impressed me, his high school film in the spring, and just I love the way he runs. And he's a great kid, and it's fun to talk to him because he's pretty soft-spoken. He doesn't say a whole lot, but he's just a no-nonsense young man. I love it, and he just goes out there and runs. But he's talks about being from that small town. That's just where I got that mentality from, and I enjoy it. Like he's a good young player, and he looked good the other night. And I think him and Isaiah Augustive, I've said it wrong for a lot of times. Dallin Hayden when he gets back. And even Charlie with some good runs the other day. They've got a good running back group. And Coach Prime even said today, don't put what was going on the running backs because those guys can run. I think if the offensive line can carry some momentum, you've got a good group here.
Another guy that's cut from the right cloth, LaVonta Bentley at linebacker, was in the press conference as well today. And it's been really cool to just see his growth and maturity since he's been here. He was mature coming in. I should say more his growth just as a football player.
Yeah, and just I think that maturity has been a really good thing for this defense because he's just, again, he's that calm, steady presence. And, yeah, the growth, I've always been impressed with him with, I can't remember if it was the spring or the fall when Coach Hart was saying how there was one day that he just decided to switch it up. He put Bentley with the second team just to see how he would react. And he came out and had his best practice. And then last year, to go throughout the season, he's a starter. But then Juwan Mitchell takes that spot for a couple of weeks. And Bentley comes back and plays his best football the rest of the year. And so he doesn't sulk and get down if something may go wrong a little bit. And he's carried momentum into this year. He played really good football the last 7-8 games last year. And the first 3 games this year, he's been really impressive. To me, he's got to be one of the better linebackers in the Big 12 right now.
And we'll get into Baylor later in the week. Just real quick, I think they opened as a 1-point favorite. It quickly moved to Colorado being favored by a couple points. Don't really have a strong feel for this Baylor team at this point because 2 of their opponents were far inferior opponents, especially given it just sounds like Air Force is down this year. So I think this is more of a coin flip game to the outside perception. I think this is a football game Colorado should win.
Yeah, I think so. This is one we talked about the schedule, before the season, but when I looked at the schedule before the year, I thought there's no sure wins, but there's no sure losses on the ledger as far as I was concerned. But there were several games I thought you better win that game, and it was North Dakota State, Colorado State, Baylor, and Cincinnati were 4 that I thought you have to win those games, and they've got 2 of them, and now they got another one here, and so they're set up to where if they come out and just play good football, they should be 3-1 at the end of the week.
All right, we're going to have another media availability window on Wednesday, so we will be back with more analysis then.